silent as 60,000 people hold their breath. A 37-year-old man stands over the ball, his legs spread wide, his eyes fixed on the goal with a level of intensity that borders on insanity. Most players at this age are retired, sitting on a beach or coaching from the sidelines. But this man is not most players. He is a machine built from pain, a legacy carved out of hunger, and a global icon who turned a skinny kid with a racing heart into the most famous person on the planet. He has been told he is too old, he has been told his time is over, and he has been told he will never be the greatest. Yet every time the world counts him out, he finds a way to rewrite the rules of what is possible for a human being. This is not just a story about football. This is a story about the terrifying power of an iron will and the cost of becoming a god in a world that wants to see you fall. Welcome to Ali Abbas Biographies. The story of Cristiano Ronaldo does not begin in a luxury mansion or a gleaming training academy. It begins in the backstreets of Funchal on the island of Madeira. It was a place of breathtaking natural beauty and crushing poverty. Cristiano was the youngest child in a family that had almost nothing. His mother Maria Dolores was a cook and his father Dinis was a gardener who struggled with a deep addiction to alcohol. Life was a constant battle for survival. Cristiano shared a single room with his 3 siblings and his bed was a tiny mattress on the floor. But while his stomach was often empty, his heart was full of a single burning obsession. Football. He played in the streets using old plastic bottles or rags tied together when he did not have a ball. He played until the sun went down and the streetlights flickered on. He played until his shoes fell apart. At the age of 12 he made a choice that would change his life forever. He left his mother and his home to move to the mainland of Portugal to join the Sporting Lisbon Academy. He was a child alone in a big city. The other boys mocked his island accent. They called him a peasant. He spent his nights crying into his pillow, overcome by homesickness. But he never packed his bags. Instead he went to the gym. While the other boys slept, Cristiano would sneak into the weight room. He was a skinny kid and he knew he needed to be a monster to survive. He began a training regime that was legendary before he even turned 16. He would put weights on his ankles and dribble through the streets to make his feet faster. He would stay late after training sessions until the coaches had to physically drag him off the pitch. He was not just practicing to be good. He was practicing to be undeniable. In 2003, a friendly match against Manchester United changed everything. A group of the world's greatest players looked at their legendary manager Sir Alex Ferguson and told him they had just played against a teenager they could not catch. Ferguson did not hesitate. He signed the 18-year-old for £12 million. Cristiano arrived in England with blonde highlights and a bag of tricks, but he was greeted by the most brutal league in the world. Defenders tried to break his legs. The British press called him a show pony. They said he had no end product. Then came the World Cup in 2006. In a match against England, Cristiano was involved in a controversial incident that led to the red card of his own teammate Wayne Rooney. When the camera caught him winking at the bench, the entire nation of England turned into a lynch mob. He became the most hated man in the UK. People burned his effigy in the streets. They smashed his car windows. Every stadium he visited was a wall of boos and whistles. Most players would have cracked under that pressure. They would have asked for a transfer to a quiet league in Spain or Italy. But Cristiano Ronaldo is fueled by hate as much as he is fueled by love. He returned to Manchester and put on the greatest 3-year display in the history of the Premier League. He stopped being a winger and became a predator. He scored 42 goals in a single season. He won the Champions League. He won his first Ballon d'Or. He proved that he could take the hatred of millions and turn it into gold. In 2009 he moved to Real Madrid for a world record fee of £80 million. This was the era of the greatest rivalry in sports history. Ronaldo versus Messi. Every week for 9 years these two titans pushed each other to heights that had never been seen. If Messi scored a hat trick on Saturday, Ronaldo would score 4 on Sunday. It was a psychological war that lasted a decade. Ronaldo became the all-time leading scorer for the greatest club in history. He won 4 more Champions League titles. He won 4 more Ballon d'Ors. He became a brand, a billionaire and a father. But as the trophies piled up, the criticism never stopped. People called him arrogant. They called him selfish. They focused on his six-pack and his tan instead of the fact that he was the first person at the training ground at 5 in the morning and the last to leave at night. They ignored the fact that he does not have tattoos so he can donate blood twice a year. They ignored the millions he has given to hospitals and schools in Palestine and Portugal. As he entered his late 30s, the world began to wait for the decline. His return to Manchester United was a fairy tale that turned into a nightmare of internal politics and public fallouts. He was benched for the first time in his career. He was told he was a problem. In a move that shocked the world, he left Europe and moved to Saudi Arabia to join Al Nassr. The critics laughed. They said he was finished. They said he was just chasing money in a retirement league. But then they watched the games. At nearly 40 years old, Ronaldo was still outrunning players half his age. He was still the top scorer in the world for the calendar year of 2023. He was still the first name on the team sheet for Portugal. He showed the world that age is just a number if you are willing to treat your body like a temple and your mind like a fortress. Cristiano Ronaldo is not just a footballer. He is a testament to the fact that you can design your own destiny. He was a boy with a racing heart condition that almost ended his career before it started. He was a boy who lost his father to addiction at a young age. He was a boy who was told he was too skinny, too loud and too arrogant. He took all of that pain and used it as fuel to build a legacy that will last for 1,000 years. He has over 600 million followers on Instagram, but he is still that same kid from Madeira who hates to lose. He has all the money in the world, but he still trains like he is fighting for a contract. He is a reminder that talent is nothing without obsession. He is a reminder that the world will always try to tell you who you are, but you are the only one who gets to hold the pen. As he stands on the pitch in the twilight of his career, the goal remains the same. To be the best. Not just for today. Not just for tomorrow. But for history. The journey from the streets of Funchal to the top of the world is complete, but the hunger remains. Because for Cristiano Ronaldo the finish line does not exist. There is only the next goal. There is only the next win. There is only the next chance to prove everyone wrong one last time. Thanks for watching Ali Abbas Biographies. If you want to see more stories of the legends who defined our era, make sure to like and subscribe. Tell us in the comments who is the greatest of all time in your eyes. We will see you in the next one.